Hey everyone, Alex Italanda here, aka Virgil of the Me and Virgil at Genesis Brothers podcast. And I was going to do a little thing about our upcoming premiere episode, which drops at midnight tonight. Well, midnight Thursday morning, technically. But I also want to do a little thing also about the new Peter Gabriel song that just dropped, Love Can Heal. He drops a new song on the full moon of every month, and today is the full moon, so he's dropped the new song, Love Can Heal. I have, when I started listening to when the songs were coming out earlier on in the year, at the different full moons, I would just listen on the radio, the speaker, or whatever, and appreciate the songs for what they were and stuff. But it wasn't until I started listening with actual earbuds in my ears, the AirPods and stuff like that I actually heard the complexity to all the songs, all the details in there, and got to appreciate the songs a lot more. So I recommend doing it that way. If you're hearing a new song for the first time, it's definitely a better way to listen to it. For Love Can Heal, honestly, I should probably wait a little longer before I give my thoughts on it, because it will take a few listens to really get into the song, to understand the song, to see what it's doing. But with this one, because it just came out and tying in with our premiere episode coming real soon, I want to do a quick video on it and just to talk a little bit about it. My initial thoughts were, it's a little simple. Felt like it was maybe missing a bridge, like there needed to be a little more to it. I was surprised it was still 6 minutes long, because it felt like it was a shorter song with not much going on. But even since I had those first thoughts after listening to it for the first time, it started growing in my mind of what was in there, the complexity of the song. As he described it in his video he did about talking about the song, it's like a palette of different sounds going on that are all sweeping all over you. And the more I thought about it, the more I've been thinking about it, the more I've heard in the song, that there's more to it. There's more interesting parts to it, components to it that I didn't pick up initially or didn't think about after hearing on the first listen. So it shows to not always just go with the first opinion that comes into your mind with something after you hear it, to give it some time to develop in your mind, in your brain. The video, I guess there's a little video to it, which is off the artwork that he got commissioned for the song. It's kind of interesting because it's Love Can Heal, and it's about an expression of love, and it looks like it's a couple. You don't know what sex they are or anything like that, but you just see two people holding each other closely. And I think there's different ways it can be interpreted. I actually saw it as, because of the shape of it with the outline around this couple, as a ancient and medieval history fan, I actually saw it as almost like a burial that was discovered, which is kind of interesting, where you dig it up and you find this couple locked in an embrace. It would just be the skeletons, obviously, wherever it was from. But that's how I kind of interpret it, which is an unusual way, I guess, of seeing it about love, but it's also an expression of love, because you have this couple that have been discovered, whoever they may have been, that passed away and were buried together in this way, incredibly close and locked together for all eternity, essentially. So anyway, that was my interpretation of it. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, it was actually mentioned on another Genesis podcast, the Tabletop Genesis podcast. They do an episode on every new Peter Gabriel song as well, and talk about, it was specifically Tom who talked about how good Peter Gabriel's voice sounds. He's in his 70s now, he's getting older. As we know with Phil, his voice is definitely not the same as it ever was. He's definitely aging a lot. But really with all these songs, you can really hear it, and again in this song especially, Love Can Heal, the way his voice sounds, like the quality of it, the depth of it, the notes he can hit. This song actually started in a pretty high note, which I was surprised at. So I've been really impressed with that, just with how good his voice has been. So I think that about wraps it up for this little talk about his new song. Again, the new premiere episode of Me and Virgil, a Genesis Brothers podcast, drops at midnight. Episode 1, From Genesis to Obsession. And you can get that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. All right, hope you enjoy it. Thanks.